Hey you guys. Okay, so on this special video, I will be going over 10 most commonly missed places cleaned in Airbnbs by my cleaners. Okay, so we do a lot of quality control inspections, and typically when we're going through these units and we're inspecting these units, these are the most commonly missed places. Okay, so I know whenever I hire a new cleaner on, I know exactly where to look at because these are the common places that people miss. And we're just gonna get right into it. Okay, number one, the first place we always like to look is in the sheets. Okay, so sometimes they'll take the sheets off, they'll wash the sheets, they'll dry the sheets, and then they'll just throw the sheets back on the bed, but hair may still be in the sheets. Even though you washed it, even though you dried it, sometimes you can still see hair in the sheets. So it's important that your cleaners pay attention to details. So I require our cleaners to carry what's called a lint brush. They're all supposed to have one, a lint brush. So they take the lint roll. I'm sorry, it's a lint roller. They take the lint roller, and when they put the fitted sheet on, they're supposed to take that lint roller. If they see hair or lint, then they just roll over the bed and get it up real quick, and then continue making the bed, right? But you gotta pay attention to detail, okay? But what we find is, being that it's such a short turn for these ladies, they're rushing. So they're going in there, they wash, and then they dry. Like, they're working real fast, so they're not really paying attention to the hairs and the sheets. And they just make the bed because they feel like, hey, I washed it, I dried it, so it should be good. No. So we always check the beds. We have to lift it back and check and see whether there's any hairs in the beds. That means that the cleaner did not use a lint roller. You can get them from the Dollar Tree for $1. Okay, a lint roller. Get it for your ladies. Number two, most common missed place in Airbnb cleaning: underneath the stove. So I always tell them to check inside the stove, so they'll pull the big part down, but they'll never get underneath the big part, like at the bottom, that little tray you pull down. Oh my gosh. Sometimes it's dishes or pans in there, and it's like grease, like leaks in there, and it gets really nasty. So it's really important that they pay attention to that part too, because you don't want the guests to check in, and guests are nosy. They're looking for a way to get some money back. So they're doing inspections, and they're gonna cry about every little thing. So underneath the stove, the little drawer, pull it out and check that area. That's a really common area that people love to miss in Airbnb cleaning. Okay. Number three. Oh my God. This is big for especially my new people that come in. New Airbnb cleaners always miss the coffee pot. Yeah, the coffee pot. Yeah. So some people may just take the coffee pot, rinse it out or whatever, put it back in there. You got some cleaners that do that. But you're supposed to wash the coffee pot, and also, you have to lift it up and you have to take the old coffee out and then clean the coffee pot, you know. So the whole coffee pot, they need to be trained on how to properly clean the whole thing. Because one situation where we found pictures where there was mold inside the water in the coffee pot, which is very nasty. You got to have your cleaners clean out the whole coffee pot, and don't leave no funky water inside there. So clean the coffee pot out, check it, check the whole coffee pot, and teach them how to properly clean the whole thing. Don't just take the glass, rinse it, and put it back in there, baby. Don't do that, okay? Next, we have number 4. Some of our Airbnbs, the trash can is underneath the sink, right? Whew. I cannot tell you how many times people have missed the trash can being underneath the sink. They I didn't know a trash can was there. I didn't know. So they didn't change out the trash. Guest checks in and voila, it's a mess, you know. So it's important for them to know where the trash can is. If this is a new unit that you just got, they need to be properly trained on where the trash can is. Sometimes the trash can is underneath the sink. They should be looking underneath the sinks anyway. They need to be looking in the drawers. They need to be looking at the forks and the spoons to make sure that the guest didn't steal any forks and spoons. There was one situation where um, the guests checked in and they didn't have enough silverware. So whoever cleaned the unit should have reported that there was like three forks or whatever, like, and one spoon in there. Like, sometimes the guests take your stuff. So it's up to us, the cleaners, to report it if you see it. If you don't see, if you only see one cup in there, you know, hey, like, report that so that we can replace the stuff or whatever. Not only that, but if they have a lot of glass, like, check your glass, the glasses and the wine glass and stuff that are in the cabinets. Sometimes they can get dusty just sitting up there. So it's important for the cleaners to open up the cabinets and check the silverware, check the glasses, make sure there's no smudges in there and stuff like that. I know it's time consuming, very time consuming. But every now and then, gotta get like that thorough, deep clean check on everything and do inventory. Okay, so I just need to throw that in there. But yeah, trash underneath the sink. They always miss that. Number 5, under the bed. Woo, that's a big one because they don't like to bend over. Don't nobody like to bend over nowadays. Everybody like to clean, 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 clean. Don't nobody like to bend over. So whenever we do these checks, 9 times out of 10, it's something under the bed. Okay. So that's a biggie for us. Make sure that your cleaners are vacuuming under the bed. Check underneath the bed, because honey, it ain't no telling what the guests done left underneath there. Under the bed. That is a big one for us. Okay. Number 6, another big one is checking the drain in the shower. Okay, so they're in the shower, they have like this little drain that always has hair stuck up in it. Like, always, almost all the time when we do quality control inspections, we see hair in the shower drain. Gotta teach your cleaners to please check that, because a lot of times our Airbnbs don't look like they're that bad. They don't look like they're that dirty, and they'll look inside the shower and say, "Oh, well, this ain't that bad," whoop, 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 and just do a quick wipe and forget to really look at the drain and wipe the drain out, clean the drain. It's always hair in that drain, like always. Every time we do inspections, I just can't stress it enough. My A players, I don't have to worry about them, but everybody else, they seem to always miss the hair in the drains for showers. Okay. What else we got here? Oh, for number 7, the baseboards. The baseboards, especially behind the toilet. Okay. So, and on the sides of the toilets, you know, you got to look at the whole toilet, right? But the baseboards behind the toilet, they always seem to not want to wipe those down. Like, they have to get hit. Okay. They have to. So that's another biggie. That's another place where we always look. Behind the toilet, the baseboards behind the toilet. Okay. Number 8 would be the plunger. That's a big one for our Airbnbs. Our Airbnbs tend to get real dusty real quick. A lot of times the plunger would just be sitting there all month getting dusty. It's just getting dusty. Brand new plunger. Nobody ever used it. But it's just sitting there getting dusty. And nobody wants to clean it. Like, nobody wants to clean the plunger. But all you have to do is take it, rinse it off, you know. But by all means, don't leave it dusty. It looks bad. So the plunger needs to be cleaned. Okay. That's another big one. What are we on now? We are on number 9. Oh, goodness. This is a good one. We always find lint in the dryer. So sometimes we'll get these phone calls that the dryer's not working. It's not drying properly. And a lot of times you just gotta, empty the tray. You would think that people know that, but everybody don't know. But empty the tray in the dryer. That's another big one because it's always full of lint. Some people don't know how to do it, so train your cleaners on how to empty that tray out for your dryer so that the stuff can dry properly. That's another big one we always find that people just skip because keep in mind, Airbnb cleaners, they're moving fast all the time. They're trying to hurry up and get out of there because check-in is at 3 o'clock. They only got 4 hours to turn it, so they're moving fast. Sometimes they're not thinking about all this stuff that we're talking about, okay? So the next thing that we look for is dusting the pictures, the light fixtures, and dusting off the baseboards. They don't like to dust them baseboards. They're just moving fast and don't like to dust the baseboards. I don't know. Airbnbs don't get as bad as move-outs, So it's easy to just take a broom while you're sweeping and just hit the baseboards with it. Like the baseboards should never get black in Airbnbs. Never. Okay. So that's another thing that we just try to hurry. Just try to keep up with the baseboards in all of our units. Like tell our ladies to make sure you guys are hitting your baseboards as you are cleaning, sweeping, mopping out. Hit your baseboards and your light fixtures and your pictures. Pictures should never get dusty, okay? Last but not least, check inside the cushions of the sofas, chairs. There's always crumbs inside the cushions, okay? So that's another big one for us because nobody wants to take the time out to pull the sofa up, look underneath the sofa, look inside the cushions. It's always crumbs, popcorn, and by all means, let a guest check in and see that. I'm telling you, these people, they are really nitpicky. I mean, anybody that walks in and sees a whole bunch of junk inside of the couch, they're gonna say something. They're gonna say something to you, and it's not gonna be nice. So not only that, but also I've noticed the fans. Like you would think that you got to clean the fans, but a lot of times in some of our units, the fan is really high up. And if your cleaners don't have a 2-step ladder, they can't really reach it. So they just say the hell with it. That's not good either. You got to hit those fans. You don't want the fans in Airbnbs to start caking up and looking bad, okay? But I think that's just about it. That was my 10. I actually gave you guys a little more than 10 because we be finding stuff all the time, man. So if you do inspections and Airbnbs, hopefully I was able to shed a little light on things that you guys need to look for, okay, when you're doing inspections on your cleaners, okay? These are all those things I wrote down, everything that we usually go through in my main hot spots that I look for. And if you know any hot spots, list them down below so we all can learn from each other, okay? Until next time, I'm out of here, you guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.